Today on the morning show, singer Justin Hines joins us to talk about his new album, How We Fly. We sit down on the Simpsons couch with a lucky contest winner, and Rookie Blue actor Gregory Smith joins us in the guest host chair. Welcome to the morning show. Canada's Conversation starts now. Good morning, everybody. It's Tuesday, May the 21st. Hope you had a great Victoria Day long weekend, and we welcome Gregory.
Thank you very much.
Welcome, welcome. Great to have you here. How was your long weekend?
It was good. We had a barbecue on a roof, watched some fireworks.
Nice.
Quintessential Canadian Victoria.
Right, exactly. Well, we're going to get right into it because, it just seems to never end. There are growing calls for Toronto Mayor Rob Ford to clear the air over allegations he was caught on video reportedly smoking crack. The video itself is up for sale for about $200,000, but the ethics of paying for it are raising serious questions. So the website Gawker, that originally started to bring this story to light, has now done, it's like a crowdsourcing way of raising money, and so they're raising, and if they raise enough money, they will buy this video from these alleged drug dealers who shot it.
Yeah, they're trying to crowdsource $200,000.
Yes.
They're calling it a crack starter campaign.
And right now they've raised about $80,000 so that they can purchase this video, and then I guess they'll disseminate the video and for the world to see.
On YouTube and
but
on
there's
the website.
Something just so bizarre about this entire thing.
Well, they're offering incentives too now, like perks. So if you donate $75, you'll get a public thank you through the Twitter account. They have hundreds of thousands of followers.
But is it appropriate to be paying for this kind of thing?
I almost don't know if I should admit it, but I donated.
Did you? Did you really? Why, Gregory? Because you think it should be out there?
Well, I was mostly just curious, to be perfectly honest, and then I saw it, and whether it's true or not, it would be nice to know. I guess sometimes
you want to see it for yourself and
rumor
judge for
and innuendo, you can be just as damaging, as the real thing. So if it's not true, I'd want it out, and if it is true, I'd want it out. So
right.
I didn't really think too deeply about the sort of the ethical questions, but I was like, yeah, sure.
It's a weird time we're in because things are changing so quickly. So it's, should you be paying for news items? Typically, news organizations do not. And then it seems like people will go out of their way to construct something that you'll want to pay for,
well,
which is
the
not
thing.
cool.
These tabloid websites and shows are really changing the landscape of the way journalism is done, and unfortunately news has to often compete with them, especially in the States. So they're often finding in the States especially that they're paying for interviews, pieces of tape, things that wouldn't be done here. And yet once it does get out, I'm sure everyone's going to be reporting on it.
Well, because Gawker is a gossip website. It is a gossip website. It's not trying to hide that, but the video, if it does exist and if it does implicate Mayor Rob Ford, would be very damning, and it would be something that I think all the news outlets would want to get their their hands on once it's out there.
Well, he really does have to, confront these allegations head on, probably today. I mean, he's showing up at City Council today because he basically said this is a smear campaign by the Toronto Star, although the Toronto Star kind of jumped on the bandwagon after Gawker came out with it on Thursday night.
But they're a well-known nemesis of Rob Ford. So we'll see. I mean, even though he's the mayor of Toronto, this is getting North America-wide, if not wider, attention now.
But Gregory, I mean, you don't have to be on TV. You don't have to be an actor to know cameras are everywhere now. Smartphones. If just stick to the
stick to the line.
We know, right? But what we're saying, you know what I mean? Like, if it does in fact pan out to be true, I mean, it doesn't take a rocket scientist. I mean, behave yourself. Cameras are everywhere.
Cameras are everywhere.
Yeah.
And if you're sitting in a room with people, and apparently the allegation is that you even hear him say, "That better not be on." What do you think? Okay, here we go. A group of Canadian actors, writers, and politicians are calling on Prime Minister Stephen Harper to change the name of Victoria Day. They want the holiday changed to Victoria and First Peoples Day in an effort to include Canada's Aboriginal people. Thoughts? And stony silence.
I thought it was called May 2. Does
May
everybody
2
call it?
May 2
Just
for
change it to May
weekend.
2-4. I just learned May 2-4 I just learned about that this weekend because this is my first time here for
Oh, really?
Victoria Day.
Yeah, because I think it's just a Torontonian or an Ontario thing to refer to Victoria Day weekend as May 2-4. You don't
Like
do
a
that in
2-4 beer.
you don't do that in Quebec. In
Oh,
fact,
really?
it's considered a fête de dollar. A dollar day. So, and then I think in Victoria, what do they? Is it just Victoria Day?
Like
I don't remember because it's been so long since I lived.
Wow, right?
Yeah.
I
It's been
would
in
think
the
so. I
States
think
for
it's
a while.
only here, but changing it or adding. Changing the name or adding Aboriginal Peoples
Well, there
Day
is an
to
Aboriginal
it
Day as well,
seems-
isn't there?
There is.
Yeah, June 21st. There is a national
I'd be pushing
Aboriginal
for an
Day.
actual holiday on its own.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I would be doing.
Right, because it just seems.
Barbecue Day.
There you go. Have another day like that, too.
Yeah.
Let's get all sorts of holidays in. Okay, Justin Bieber was honored at the Billboard Music Awards over the weekend with the Milestone Award. But instead of applause and admiration, he was hit with a round of boos. Take a look.
This is not a gimmick. This is not a gimmick. I'm an artist, and I should be taken seriously. And all this other bull should not be spoken of.
He was upset there. It sounded like he was going to cry.
Well, a lot of reports, because obviously we're just seeing a small clip, but apparently he stood there for a minute and was kind of dumbfounded that this was going on and didn't quite know what to make of it. And, you know.
Yeah, I don't blame him. I mean, he was awarded this Milestone Award, which was voted by the fans. I mean, he has 38 million Twitter followers. He had nothing to do with it. He got the award. Why would people be booing him?
Because there's too much
There
Justin
was a
Bieber
backlash,
nonsense
and, you know,
in the
he's
air
been
these
involved
days.
in a lot of scandals lately.
You know, if I'm Justin, for right or wrong, people doing that, I'm taking a step back and saying, it happened. So now I need to deal with that. Why did that just happen to me? Maybe I need to dumb it down a little bit.
With Justin Bieber, too, it's people forget, I think, because he's so successful, that he's a kid. You know, he's only 19 years old.
Yeah.
I remember, you know, when I was 19, and you know, I was getting in trouble. Yeah. So I feel a little bad for him. And tend to defend him just because he's so young. You know, you got a lot to figure out still.
But he did, you know, he did accomplish a lot musically speaking, and that's why he deserved that award. That's why people voted and said, yeah, he should get that award. So I can see why he'd be taken aback, going, wait a minute, you know, I'm making music, okay, what? And I won an
But
award.
I think as a celebrity, and such a huge celebrity who has basically grown up in the limelight, he has to develop a thicker skin because he's going to get used to, for every fan, there's someone out there
Yeah,
who's
that's
going
true.
to...
Especially when you've got that amount of fame. All right, coming up, we talked to Canadian singer Justin Hines about his new album, How We Fly, and about his upcoming summer tour. And later, it's a dream come true for one Simpsons fan. Arlie Boo talks to the winner of Global's Couch Gag contest. See you in a minute.
Baby, when the morning comes, I'll find that all the hurt is done. You will know by the smile that I wear. All the fortunes.
Good morning, everybody. Canada's Justin Hines has been entertaining audiences since his teens. His music and his story inspire people wherever he goes. And if you don't know his name, you will likely know his work in There's No Place Like This Ontario tourism campaign. Earlier this month, Justin released his 5th studio album, How We Fly, and he joins us now. Good morning.
Good morning.
Great to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
Busy couple of years.
Yeah, to say the least. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I'm a lucky guy. I get to do this every day, so I can't think of anything else I'd rather be doing. So.
You started pretty young, didn't you?
I did actually. I don't remember having that moment of trying to figure out what I wanted to do when I grew up. It just kind of evolved into music, and I never wanted to pursue anything else.
Amazing thing, isn't it? I'm
fortunate.
so
since
jealous
you
of
were a
people
toddler.
who just know this is their gift, this is their passion, and you just felt that immediately.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I just had this thing. It was my outlet, and it was therapy for me. And you know, I knew I was never really going to be like a star athlete dude. So I think music was something I was just so compelled to pursue. So I'm fortunate. Yeah.
Well, you've been writing on napkins. I remember the last time we met.
Yeah.
You showed me a video of yourself as a kid. singing at school concert and it's kind of being in the hand. But you know, your wife talked about how you would write songs on napkins and stuff. So what has been your process of the last few years? Because you sang at the Olympics as well. Beijing Olympics, the Vancouver Olympics.
Was that so nerve-wracking?
Yes, absolutely. But I have to say, one thing that was actually more nerve-wracking was singing the anthems for sporting events. I think that is the most terrifying thing ever.
We looked at tape this morning of the poor French-Canadian girl who was singing out west, and she just completely butchers the American anthem.
Oh,
And
I empathize.
which is harder, or which is the hardest? The American seems like it's the hardest.
Yeah, I think musically the American one's harder, but the reality is it is just the most terrifying experience because you know that it's going to be in the news if you don't exactly nail it, and it's just you're supposed to be representing your country, and I don't know. I don't envy anybody that's to do that on a regular basis.
You're not signing up for that again.
Not so much. I'm glad I get to do this more.
And it must be amazing too when you get to sing your songs, the songs that you've labored over, that you've brought forth. That is, I suppose, what helps make it a little bit easier because it's your music.
Yeah, and truthfully, it's a privilege. I think it's easy to take this whole career for granted and job because it's so chaotic, and I think it's easy to get lost in another moment when you should be in this one right now. So I'm fortunate that this worked out because truthfully I don't know what else I'd be doing at this point. So.
What's it like on tour? You've got the Vehicle of Change tour happening now, right? So what's that? What's your schedule like?
Well, this one will be entirely different for us. It's basically the company I work with who manages me. They had this amazing idea, knowing that I really love working with different charities rather than just focusing on one. So they have this amazing idea of every tour stop we make that the money will go to a local charity that maybe doesn't get as much recognition as some other ones do. Maybe some big ones as well, but for the most part we're focusing on local ones, and I love the idea. And we don't actually know in every venue where we're going to be playing. It could be a street corner, a Legion Hall, a theater.
So what, are you using social media or something?
We are, and we're actually working with the organizations and making them a part of it, engaging them in the process of putting on the show and rallying people. It's kind of more of a communal thing that we're after, and we also did crowdsourcing for actually funding the tour and getting on the road, so the people that are a part of that are just all engaged. And it's just one of those things that we just feel we're really connecting with people, not just going out and doing the typical kind of tour that we all do. So yeah.
The funding through crowdsourcing is fascinating to me.
It really is.
Are you using Indiegogo as well?
Site called Pledge Music, actually. We're doing it through. And again, it's a way of engaging, and I think ultimately that's what we're kind of the most excited about. And people have been unbelievably kind so far. So far, we've made the first leg happen. Now we're working on the second and third one. So it's
really
happening.
grassroots. But I hear you got a really big donation too.
We did.
Someone stepped up.
Yeah, actually, a random union out in Sarnia, UA 663 actually, plumbers and pipe fitters were kind enough to be a title sponsor on this tour, which is such a great story for us. It's so beautiful and kind of random, to be honest, and not expected, from something like that. So they moved us to no end by that donation.
Wow.
So yeah,
It's just amazing.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, they donated an RV.
Oh, actually, those folks you're talking about.
Yeah, was a couple
a couple in Brothel actually donated a massive, a beautiful RV for us. And actually, it's funny because they not only donated to us, but they actually completely set it up so I could get around and made it accessible. And unbelievable act of generosity. And they kind of pulled a fast one on me. They told us we were going down there and looking at a vehicle, to maybe rent because it's been so hard for us to find one. And then they dropped the bomb and they're actually giving it to us. So it was surreal.
Your tour bus.
It is. It really is. And it's going to be like literally the vehicle of change. So right now we're fixing it all up and getting it ready for the road. And
So how can people
crazy.
follow your tour or find out where you're going to be, or if they want to see you across
Well,
the
basically our website, justinhines.com, has all the tour dates, and we'll be updating it very frequently. Shows are being confirmed by the day. So it also has a link to our Pledge Music site where people can, contribute to the tour and hopefully get some pretty cool rewards for doing so. But ultimately, it's about helping us help other people. It's basically the goal we're after. So.
Right, and the album again is called How We Fly, which was just released on May the 14th. Justin Hines, thank you so much for being here.
Privilege. Thanks so much for having me.
Nice
Really
to meet
appreciate
you.
it. Thank you.
Coming up, the new season of Rookie Blue debuts on Global later this week. We get a preview from our guest host, Gregory Smith, after the break. morning, everybody. Well, he's our co-host for today, but you can also see Gregory Smith on Global's Rookie Blue as Officer Dove Epstein, which returns this Thursday night at 10. Exciting. This is like the season 4. This show has been doing so well.
Yeah, it's been we've been incredibly lucky. It took off right out of the gate, and you know, we've been able to maintain every year. It seems to get better and better. People love the show more and more. So. Yeah.
So as a show progresses into its 2nd, 3rd, 4th season, how do you keep your character fresh? Do you ever talk to the writers? Are you ever trying to add new layers?
You've directed a show too, right?
Yeah, I've directed a couple of episodes. In terms of keeping the show fresh and the characters fresh, every year has its own theme. This year the theme is change, you know, and I think it's really important with every new episode and every new season to really reinvent the characters a little bit and the show. And also we change as actors, you know, through you know, we've been shooting this show for 5 years now, so we're all quite different people than we were when we started. So that kind of happens naturally. And then we add a lot as well. You know, knowing the writers, they get to know our personalities, and then, you know, they start writing little things in. And,
right. Do you know all the cop lingo now? Like, could you listen to the scanners and like?
Although I had a funny thing. So Peter Mooney, who's another actor on the show, he plays Nick Collins. We were driving home from a movie a couple of months ago on Dundas, and there was a car accident in front of us, like a 3-car like major accident. And so I stopped, and we were the first car that wasn't in the accident, and it was right in an area where we shoot all the time. So I looked at him and I was like, you know what to do. I'll secure the scene. Call 911. We went into full Rookie Blue mode. We went to like passenger vehicles. Ma'am, you okay? And everyone's. And then the real cops showed up, and they looked at us, and we knew them because we shoot there all the time. They're like, we'll take it from here, boys.
Thank you.
That's what I love about this show, too, because it's shot here in Toronto, and it's about Toronto cops. But it's it also airs in the States. How has the reception been? I mean, it's obviously been good because season 4, right?
Yeah, the reception has been incredible in the States. You know, everywhere I go, whenever I'm visiting friends or traveling down there, people, oh, Epstein. So it's been amazing. It's had this dual appeal.
It's nice to be putting a Canadian product out to the rest of the world.
Yeah.
And you know how people often approach actors and actually believe that they are who their characters are rather than fictitious characters. So do people come up to you on the street and ever think of you as a cop and speak to you?
No, that doesn't happen very often. Although, you know, a lot of times I'll be shooting something like downtown, and I'll be in my uniform, and I'll, you know, go for a coffee or something, and people will think I'm a real cop, and so they'll give me the coffee for free, and I'll feel weird about taking it, and you know, and sometimes I'll direct traffic, you know, and stuff like that. Nothing
We
to see
need to
here,
get a
folks.
camera on that. That's perfect.
I love that.
So you get a sense of the power a little bit there with the uniform.
The uniform, it does. It
It
really
opens doors?
changes. Well, it just changes the way you feel about yourself. You know, you kind of stand up straighter, and you feel like you have great power and great responsibility.
See that?
Yeah, because you know that as you're walking around town, like, people have a certain feeling toward you if they see you in the uniform. All right, well, we're all going to be watching on Thursday, that's for sure. Again, it's Thursday at 10, Season 4 of Rookie Blue premieres. All right, coming up, it's a moment in every show that's well known to Simpsons fans. After the break, we meet a Canadian man who put his own mark on the couch gag. Well, imagine growing up the fan of one of TV's most popular shows, then one day getting the opportunity to contribute to the program's famous opening. Our Liam Vu has more.
Yep, and that famous opening is for The Simpsons. It's been on the air for 24 seasons, and every single episode they always have a different gag, whether it's a spin-off or a spoof of a show or a movie. Well, this time around they opened a contest, and actually a Canadian guy from Oakville, Ontario won. His name is Ray, and I got a chance to talk to him about his experience. Take a look.
I wanted to make a Canadian couch gag because I've never seen it before. I figured Canadian fans would like it. And I thought it would be funny if Johnny McDonald was in it. A bunch of the writers, it was a big joke because no one knew who Johnny McDonald was in the writer's room. I ended up going to the animation studio and no one knew how to draw Johnny McDonald because they didn't know who he was.
First Prime Minister of Canada, we had to look it up, make sure we were correct.
We have, we have the rules of the Simpsons universe, and that's reality. And then with the couch gag, we can go crazy. And over the years, people have suggested many couch gags, and we thought, let's turn this into a contest. Let's make this pay off.
Is this pretty much the pinnacle of geekdom for you?
It's all overwhelming, to be honest. Like, I can't even grasp that I wrote a couch gag for The Simpsons. It's, words can express how I feel about it. I've been watching Simpsons as long as I can remember. My friend and I actually met because he's seen every single episode of The Simpsons and I've seen every single episode of The Simpsons, and we've been best friends ever since because of that moment. And I took him as a guest for this trip, so our whole friendship has gone full circle now. It's been pretty cool. And at the end of it, I met Matt Groening, the creator of The Simpsons, and he gave me some memorabilia, signed my DVD, gave me a signed script and an animation book as well. I was shaking, to be honest, the entire time. I thought I knew what to say, but as soon as I met him, I completely blanked. I said, thanks for making The Simpsons. I mean, my whole humor has been based off it. If it wasn't for The Simpsons, I'd probably be a different person.
How amazing is that? So it's not the first time that Ray has gone to Los Angeles. It's actually his second time. When he went in the summer, he actually went for another contest. He won the chance to meet Jimmy Kimmel. So let's just say when I was talking to him about his friends and their reaction, everyone's a bit jealous. So folks, be friends with Ray because he's probably going to win another contest. So there you have it. A Canadian designed a couch gag for The Simpsons and made everyone else really jealous. I'm going to throw it back to the desk.
That is like really a moment in your life. That is a huge
So quintessentially
thing.
Canadian, though, eh? With the loon, the beaver, punching on the log in the front.
He's talented, but he's determined as well. He's won other contests, and he's like, yeah, sure, I'll enter this, and there you go.
There were 30,000 contestants, and he got picked.
I love it.
Well, it was certainly unique. I can't imagine how hard it is to come up with something fresh. Every
After how many
episode.
years? 26, 24 years of The Simpsons? That's a lot of seasons.
Oh my God, it's just crazy. Do you watch The Simpsons?
I haven't in a little while, but yeah, I used to. I love it.
I'm trying to think now. Someone here is going to know this.
All the lines.
Oh, I just thought of it. No, where The Simpsons originally were seen before they had their own series. Anyone? Simpsons nerds? Originally, they were seen on what other comedy show? Tracy Ullman Show. That's right. It was like a little vignette in the Tracy Ullman Show of The Simpsons.
I'm starting to remember. Oh, he's running out and saying, a little bit late.
Another one of our anchors came running back from the office. Tracy Ullman. Thank you, Gregory.
Thank you so much for having me.
It was just super to have you here. And again, this Thursday, 10 p.m. Global, Rookie Blue has its season 4 debut. There we go. And tomorrow, hosting on the show, Chantel Kraviazek, the always fabulous and beautiful. We'll see her tomorrow. Have a good one, everybody.